Hello, how's it going? Good, great, fantastic. And yes, it is Autism Awareness Week and Month, and let's get into it because I keep fucking trying to do these videos and it's taken me forever. I was originally going to do videos talking about my experiences with individuals with autism. I know this video may cover that kind of part. I was going to tell you some of my favourite achievements that I did while working in the field, but I'm going to talk about something else instead. If you want to hear some stories, not just my achievements, but stories in general, let me know down below and I'll happily do videos. As soon as we've got a whole month to do that in, I'll happily do some more videos on autism. Or if you want some advice on dealing with behaviours, or if you want any kind of advice on not just dealing with behaviours, engaging with individuals, let me know in the comments below and I'll happily do follow-up videos. So in this video, I want to just tell you how to make yourself more aware of an individual's quirks and that they might be slightly different in their personality and their approach with the public. And so it kind of lessens the element of surprise for yourself to leave a kind of negative taste in your mouth about an individual, because you might not be aware that they may be autistic, and then you might just think, oh, look at him, he's drunk, or he's a crackhead, or things. We've had these kind of things before, so that's why I'm just making you aware. And first of all, I do want to give massive props to the public in general in the UK, especially in London. They are very understanding of our guys. I used to work in the field, I don't work anymore, but at that time, you know, the vast majority of my experiences, bar one or two individuals, has been mostly positive for the public in the UK, from buses to trains to just the public in general. You know, I think in the UK the level of awareness is very high. In America as well, I know, because I always hear these stories. But another country I want to give a lot of praise to is Greece, because in Greece there isn't that much awareness of autism. You know, they don't understand it. Like I tell them the Greek term of autism, which is autismos, and they're like, what? So there isn't much awareness. But because their natural Greek position on humans is to be empathetic towards them and just want to nurture them, when we take our guys on holiday, because they go every year to Greece, they go on holiday. It's one of the best things that the Day Centre does. I won't disclose where. You know, the public in general, very understanding, very accommodating, very like nurturing and caring towards them. Like they'll give them food and, you know, the Greek thing to feed everyone. Or just give them designated spaces in a restaurant and be very understanding of just people in general, that they are different, they are quirky. And rather than just be judgmental, they'll just speak to us about it. Like, oh, is everything okay? Can I help you with it? Oh, you're doing an amazing job. You know, the usual stuff. So a lot of praise. And the level of accommodation in Greece is like nothing I've ever known. So a prime example is when we used to go into a city centre, we'd be at the bus stop to return back to the hotel, and the buses, we'd talk to a bus agent and they'd happily accommodate the bus. So the whole of the back of a bus would just accommodate our guys. No members of the public would be allowed at the back of the bus. Or they'd reroute a bus entirely, take it off of its route. So saying going city centre to airport, would go from city centre to the hotel just to take our guys. That's the level of flexibility. And it's easier taking the bus because cab drivers are fucking morons out there. They don't even know where they're going half the time. Even though we'd just be a few kilometres away, they're still like, what? That's another story. Anyway, so some of the more common traits with individuals with autism is, you know, obviously when they're sitting, they might be body rocking back and forth, twiddling their hands in front of their face, picking up bits of objects and crumpling them. You know, making unusual vocalizations that you may not be aware of, making loud sudden screams. Doesn't mean they're necessarily distressed. It's just kind of their default noises that they make. It's just their way of self-regulating their body or doing something that helps them be calm. Because with individuals with autism, the world is like a massive firework and you don't know what to do with it. So if you have a little quirk or trait like body rocking, for example, it helps you regulate everything and bring you and calm you down. You know, self-harm as well is a lot to do with trying to take away something else that's causing you pain to something that's familiar, a familiar pain that helps regulate your body. I know it's harrowing to see this, but say for example you're out in public and somebody starts hitting themselves, it's because the environment around them is just too much, and so doing this might help draw away that attention, might help kind of regulate their body. Of course, the quicker you remove them from that situation into a calmer, safer environment, the less likely they are to self-harm themselves and they are to calm down. But just be aware that if somebody's self-harming themselves, body rocking, these are some of the traits. But other traits might be that somebody might come along and all of a sudden take your cup and tip the contents of your cup, or drink the contents of your cup, or take your food, or take something of yours and just put it in the bin. I don't know why this is with autism, but one of the quirkier traits is not liking cups filled with liquid. They're like, to them it's like, right, that's got liquid in it and it has to be finished. That's it. You can't just leave it there. I don't understand why you're leaving it there. It's there to be consumed in one and done. So you might one day get somebody come up to you while you're in a pub or in a cafe or just out there sitting there with your drink next to you, and somebody will take it and spill it on the floor, or just drink it, or just chuck it in the bin. Don't be shocked if that happens. You know, it is quite a common trait with some individuals with autism that they'll do that. I don't have a definitive reason why they do it, but they'll just do it. And of course, one of the other ones to be aware, if somebody just randomly snatches your food, that 9 times out of 10, if it's not a tramp, it might be an individual with autism, because food is great, it's fantastic, it's a great comfort for anyone. So that could happen, but it's about your awareness of just being aware that these things might happen. Or somebody might start chatting to you out of the blue, asking you questions, or have muffled speech and all of that. And rather than fob them off, do try to kind of embrace that kind of aspect of them trying to socialize with you, trying to talk to you, because it makes them feel comfortable. It makes them understand that, hey, you know, if I'm out in the public, even though I have my carer with me, I can randomly talk to somebody and they'll either understand me or they'll respond. I'll get a response that I want, you know. So please don't do the thing of trying to fob somebody off if they're talking to you, or they might hold your hand, which has happened to me randomly in Tesco. Somebody might just come up and hold your hand and just want to feel comfortable and safe. Embrace that. Talk to them. Tell them. Say, where is your carer? What are you doing? Are you doing your shopping? You know, you're doing really well. Lots of praise just to kind of help them. You know, praise is good because it's a familiar tone of voice. You know, well done. You're doing really well. We might think it's patronizing, but that familiar tone of voice can help regulate them as well. Again, in the shopping environment, the fucking lights, which can be very painful for them, the till noises, the crunching of bags, all this could be very disorientating and crazy. So if somebody at one point, you know, could do that, or they might suddenly lash out at you, might get hit in public, you might get kicked, spat at. Understand that it's because the environment they're in is very scary for them, and regulating their bodies is very difficult. For us, it's very easy. We're not like where we are, we just remove ourselves. But if you can't communicate to somebody, you know that, hey, if I punch this guy, they'll remove me because I don't know how to verbally communicate it. So be aware. And the most important thing is about their dignity. Don't take out your phone and start filming it, because this is another thing we had in the past, where one of our guys was having a meltdown and some fucking dumb youth thought, oh, it'll be great, I'll film this is really funny. And then in the end, I had to just ask them to delete it and explain to them, and it took me ages for them to understand it, and thankfully they deleted it. But it's about preserving this individual's dignity. How would you feel if you had a meltdown in the middle of the road and somebody videoed it and put it up on the social media? It's not very nice. Individuals with autism deserve just as much dignity and respect as anyone else. There are no fucking differences to us. The only difference is the way they communicate with you. So please be aware that anything can happen when you're out in public. Just know the why instead of the what the fuck are you doing kind of thing. That is all. Anyway, like I said, if you want to hear my personal stories or things that I've achieved while working in the field, or want to hear any information, or want to know about anything to do with dealing with certain behaviours or interests, let me know in the comments down below, and that is it. Let normality resume.